What's going on, everyone? It's Devrell Davis, the host of the Morning Beer Podcast. Today, we're talking about the New York Mets. Spring training already started, and we already, full gear into spring training. This week was pitches and catches. Next week, everybody's going to be reporting, so we're going to see a lot of players there. We're going to see Lindor, players that you're dying to see. Already McCann is there. Conforter and everybody's going to show up real soon. But for the most part, it's been successful. All the pitchers showed up. DeGrom, everybody, Stroman, everybody had a little press conference, everything. Syndergaard's battling, Bauer on Twitter. So it's just, we're full gear. We're ready for the season to start. Hopefully everything starts on time with, the world being the way that it is right now. But as it being spring training right now, and we probably have at least all of March before we get to the point of finding out what our roster is going to look like, I went ahead and started, even though we're like 5 weeks away from the start of the regular season, I went ahead and started with what our potential opening day roster would look like, what a depth chart would look like, what we should expect from our as far as players. If no trades are made right now, hopefully there's a few more transactions that should happen. Transactions that should happen. Be it we sign another reliever to take the place of Lugo, or we trade for a third baseman or whatever else, or maybe potentially sign another depth piece or sign another free agent, because there's a ton of free agents still left out there. Excuse me. With that being said, there's also injuries that we might have to look for. We already got hit with Lugo. Already Syndergaard's not going to start the season until potentially May or June. That's wishful thinking. Hopefully by the All-Star break, at the very worst case scenario. Let's just, see how the roster will look like if we was to start the season today, or potentially what's going to be on opening day. So, of course, at catcher, we already have McCann's. The backup's going to be Nito. But let's first go through the I'm jumping ahead of myself. I want to go through the structure of the coaching staff. Okay. Excuse me, I got a little I don't know. I slept wrong. I had the fan on me. Where I sleep at is pretty hot. The heat comes up a lot, and I had the fan on me and got me a little congested. But I'm good. So anyway, Rojas going into his second year as the manager of the team. He should do a lot better with a bench coach that he likes, which is Joss is the bench coach. I forgot his first name. Jauss is the guy that they hired to be his bench coach, and this is somebody that he's familiar with, that he worked with before. I understand, and he's very familiar with. He didn't have a great relationship with Hensley Mullins. That wasn't his guy. That was the guy that was hired for Beltran, and then he inherited him. And from what I understand, they didn't have the best relationship. That's why they let him go. Even though Hensley Mullins is like one of the best bench coaches in the game, from what I understand, and pretty much well known. He's under Bruce Bochy's tutelage. But from what I understand, Rojas wanted to go in a different direction with somebody he's more familiar with, an older baseball head that pretty much he can lean on in a pinch if he doesn't know what to do in a certain situation. So if you're comfortable, for me, I believe you have to be comfortable. If you're going into war, you have to be comfortable with the people that you're going into war with. And the fact that he's comfortable with this guy more so than he was with Mullins, by all means, I think this decision to go with Joust is a better decision, and it's a plus in my book. Moving on, we have a pitching coach, Jeremy Hefner, going into his second season as a pitching coach. He can only do better because now he knows these players a lot more. He got Trevor May, which he's familiar with from his time in Minnesota. So I think this is just going to be a better year for him. Chili Davis is our hitting coach, and he's finally going to be in the dugout this year. He wasn't there because of COVID reasons last year. He didn't want to participate in that, understandably so. He's going to be this year. The hitters hit great last year. The only thing, we couldn't drive in the runs as much as we wanted to. But with him being there, the year prior to that, in 19, they had a lot of these people had career years like J.D. Davis. If he could help push these guys, Dominic Smith and Conforto, over the top to be these all-star type caliber hitters, by all means, having them there is also another plus. We have a new first base coach in Tony Tarasco. He's a former player. I remember him when he was in the Atlanta Braves. I think he even had extended with our Mets. He He's the first base coach, and I think this is his first time doing it. So by all means, let's give him a chance, and hopefully that's a plus there. Gary DeSarcina is our third base coach. He's been with the team for a few years now. I think he was there since before Rojas, so he was there with Mickey Callaway's regime that came in there. So he's been here for a while. So he's been here at least going on 4 years right now. So it's pretty good. He's familiar with all the players on the team. He's also an infield coach and everything. He helps. He was supposed to help. Excuse me. Here's my daily yawn. All right. He's supposed to. He helped with Ahmad Rosario when he was here. Andre Jimenez. Um, his familiarity with the players in the team is a plus. Okay, so now we're gonna go into the players. We're done with the coaches and everything. The bullpen coaches, it's Ricky Bonus and all these other players. They're not really necessary to know right now. But as far as our catcher situation, we have McCanns. He's coming here. He's a former All-Star. Excuse me. He's good defensive catcher. Works well with pitches, so that's a plus. And he's going to probably do a lot better than what Wilson Ramos did last year. So to have him there is great. Thomas Nito is a serviceable backup catcher. He might have some spurts where he might hit well. He might have some spurts where he hits totally like crap. He's been a little bit injury prone the last few seasons. If he could play well for the whole season and not be injured, that would be a plus for the team. In the minor leagues, we also have a catcher. We got rid of Ali Sanchez. We have a catcher. His name I can never pronounce. I can't. I'm bad with names anyway. Is Mazeka. So Patrick Mazeka. So from what I understand, he's gonna be starting AAA. Pretty decent catcher. And far from now, we have Francisco Alvarez. So let's not even think about him till McCann's contract is up. And here's your number two. Your number two. Let's play a game. Every time I yawn, I don't know, I have this issue where I'm just tired and yawn so much. I don't know if I talk too much, it just makes me yawn. Am I not breathing or whatever? It just makes me yawn. But I don't know if it's a sickness or something, but I yawn a lot. So I'm not boring myself and you're not boring me. What it is just I yawn a lot. So let's play a drinking game. Every time I yawn, we take a drink. I should take two. I did twice. All right, moving on. First base. Pete Alonso. We're hoping Pete has a bounce back season, his third year with the team. Sophomore slump was horrible. Rookie of the year, the first year, did great. Let's hope, fingers crossed, and he gets a little bit better defensively at first base. Our backups for that position, of course, is Dominic Smith, who's more of an adequate first baseman as far as the glove is concerned, and also Jose Martinez, who we signed. And he's not that great defensively anywhere. Left field, right field, first base. He's not that good of a defensive player, but his bat plays well, so he'll make the lineup if we need that. If not, he'd just be a DH or a pinch hitter off the bench. But that's our first baseman situation. Second base is McNeil, Luis Guillorme, and Jonathan Villar. In the minor leagues, we also signed Brandon Drury, who had a lot of experience in the major leagues with the Yankees, Toronto, came from Arizona and everything. He could play around the infield, second base. Also, you're going to see his name come up in third base also. But as far as second base depth, besides Cano being on the suspended list and coming back next year, we do have McNeil, Guillorme, and Villar. So we set there. We set in pretty much all these positions as far as depth. We did a great job in replenishing this team and pretty much putting a very interchangeable team, a very deep team. So I'm totally a big fan of that. All right, third base. If nothing is done, if we don't get Suarez, if we don't get Chris Bryant, if we don't get Chapman, if we don't get any of these players throughout now and the trade deadline in July, it's gonna be J.D. Davis at third base. All right. I love his bat, and we all do. We all like JD, and we like his personality, the way he plays on the team, the way he plays in the clubhouse and everything, the way he's friends with Dominic Smith and Jeff McNeil. But the only thing is that his glove just doesn't play anyway. Same thing like Jose Martinez. His bat's going to play, but his glove is just not going to play. And where do you get him in? The only way that he's going to fit into his team is if he plays third base. Only significant thing about this is that Lindor is over there, so this could cover some of the ground that he can't make up. But the thing is his throwing. So he could probably get to these balls, but it's just his throwing after he gets to the ball. So let's just keep our fingers crossed that JD Davis is working hard to be our third baseman. I'm comfortable with the bat. His bat might be a little bit, it might be comparable to these bats that we're looking to get to replace him, Chapman and Suarez and Bryant, but it's just his glove is just such a concern that we're looking for a different third baseman. So our third base depth is J.D. Davis, Guillorme again, Villar, and of course Brandon Drury's name come up once more. He's also in the he should be in the minor leagues if he doesn't make the opening day roster. Um, Shortstop, it doesn't need to get past Lindor. He should play 162 games if he's able to, which he done before in the past. But as far as us spelling him, it'll be Luis Guillorme, who I love his glove, and also Jonathan Villar again. In the outfield, position by position, but I'm just going to name all the outfielders right now: Dominic Smith, Conforto, Nemo, Pilar, Alomar Jr., and Martinez. In the minor leagues, we have Guillaume Heredia, and Maxwell Smith. Now, when we signed Maxwell Smith early this off season, I'm like, all right, under impression, like that's a great speed player that we can have and put him on the bench, and he's gonna play out center field, backup center fielder. He's gonna be our fourth or fifth outfielder, which he should be on many teams. But he got bumped so far down the list because we picked up all these depth players. We got Pilar, we got Alomar Jr. So Maxwell Smith might be and he's been the starter in Seattle for a few years. He might be in the minor leagues, and I'm fine with that. And it's great to have a good AAA minor league depth, especially with it being a COVID pandemic. And with that being said, you never know if we might have to put somebody in for a few for 10 to 14 days because of a COVID situation. So Maxwell Smith is a great depth piece to have, and have him in third in AAA, and we could just pull him up whenever we have to. So in right field, we're gonna have Conforto, excuse me, to never say his name correctly, fast. Um, Behind him, we're gonna have Mr. Martinez, Mr. No Defense Martinez. Center field, we're gonna be Nemo. We'll probably replace him in later innings with Pilar and Alomar Jr. If Alomar Jr. is not in AAA also, because he have options left. But our center field backups gonna be Pilar and Alomar Jr. Maxwell Smith and Heredia. And left field, we're gonna have Dominic Smith, who I'm hoping he's working on his defensive game, because his bat is definitely there, and I think his bat's only going to get better. We're going to have Dominic Smith there in left field. Of course, our backups are the same characters that I named before: Pilar, Alomar Jr., Martinez, Heredia, and Mr. Smith, Maxwell Smith. So that's going to be our catcher to outfield position depth. Now we're going to go to starting pitcher. So obviously, we're going to have DeGrom, Stroman, Carrasco, and newly signed TJ Walker as our starting pitchers. For the fifth spot, it's going to be coming down to Peterson and Lucchesi, who I believe it should go to Peterson off of what he did last year, and have Lucchesi down in potentially in AAA, or somehow in the bullpen, or a spot starter, or a sixth starter, whichever way you want to work with it. Yamamoto, even Mr. McWilliams, and Eckhart. Jared Eckhart is who we signed. I think it was earlier this year, earlier in the off season, and he's going to be a good depth piece that we can have down in AAA that has to shuttle up in case something happens. All right. So and this is all before Syndergaard comes back. When Syndergaard comes back, because he's in 60-day DL, it's going to bump some people a little bit further down the list. All right, moving on to our relief pitchers. Closer is going to be Diaz, and he bounced back great last year. And I'm definitely feel positive about him. I feel a little bit more confident about him closing games. He closed games well without people in the stands. Hopefully, sometime down the line, real soon, we're going to have more people in the stands. With that being said, will this be a problem to him? I don't know. There's only one way we could tell. We have to put him in that situation to see if he's able to succeed. However, I think he's able to because his fastball, his pitching, his ability to pitch is just he's one of the better pitchers in the game, relievers, if he's on it. So we're just gonna hope Edwin Diaz just stays the way he is and improve upon that a little bit more. Trevor May is going to be probably our setup man, along with Aaron Loop, who's going to be a left hand out the bullpen. We're hoping for bounce back seasons from Familia and Betances. Hopefully, Betances could be a lot more than the shell of himself that he was last year. But Familia, I think he's good enough to be a lower option out the bullpen. Only thing is that we're just paying him so much money right now. We're expecting a lot more out of him. And, it's not to the point of what he's getting paid right now. Miguel Castro, who was a pickup last year that we picked up from Baltimore, something that Brody Van Wagen, a move that he made, and I'm pretty much not too turned off by him. I think it's a good depth relief pitcher, and I think he plays well. Tommy Hunter and Montgomery, who's the left-hander, is who we picked up recently, like in the last 2 weeks, and they're good on the minor league contracts. And either gonna be in the minor leagues or Montgomery might be a second left-hander out the bullpen. I like that. I like Montgomery out the bullpen. I hope he makes the opening day roster. Hunter might be down in the minor leagues. He could also start, but I also like him to replace Lugo if we don't sign another reliever. Gesellman, I'm over him. I'm done with him. You can send him back down to the minor leagues, please. I think he has another option. I'm just over him. I didn't know why we end up giving him a qualifying offer. But the thing is, I get it. They want to have depth, but I think it was time for us to move on. We could save some money with that. Drew Smith, injury prone, but hopefully he steps it up. He was a high round pick. I think he was a third round pick, and I think he's actually serviceable. I like him a lot. He could be a low end of the bullpen, but he just needs to stay a little bit more healthy. Arodi Vizcaino, I think, could be a dark horse to make this bullpen. And if he makes the bullpen, I think he's a good arm that we can have in the lower part of the bullpen to come in there and give us an inning or two and hopefully be effective. If we don't make another move, these are the guys that we're going with Lugo being out in IR till the May, potentially May, he might miss the first month. So with that, I believe we should make another move, and I do see another move in the horizon. Options being for bullpen, Jeffers, Shane Green. Jeffers is who I spoke about yesterday in yesterday's video. Shane Green, who I like from Atlanta, and our former Met, Mr. Tyler Clippard. So if we make one of those moves, that's going to help our bullpen be a lot deeper, especially when Lugo come back. Hopefully Lugo come back effectively, and we're just ready to rock. This team is deep. This team could play. This team just needs to believe in itself, has to be managed well, and we can play. Our defense might be a little issue with, especially on the left side of the field with Smith and Davis. But the thing is, we could hit, and we could pitch, and potentially we could have a bullpen, and potentially we have a bench. So we have all facets of the game except defense, and we have to get a little bit better defensively. It is what it is right now. Hopefully we can make some improvements. The great thing, I'm glad we didn't make these big free agent splashes and be broke by the time trade deadline comes. We can make a good trade that'll help us get us over the top. All right? This was a quick video, a quick 20-minute video, if that's even a thing, on my team, the New York Mets, and their depth pieces and what they're going to look like going into opening day and their roster. I'm your host of the Morning Beer Podcast, Devrell Davis. It was nice talking to you. Please like, subscribe, share, and tell a friend. Peace.